Got it. This structure is strong and already optimized for retention. I'll now turn this into a full high-retention YouTube script with smooth flow, emotional pacing, and strong hooks throughout. Full script. It all started at the worst possible moment. While most people brace themselves for one life-changing event at a time, Amanda Peet was hit with two all at once, as she quietly walked into what she thought would be just another routine. Medical check. Both of her parents were already in hospice care on opposite sides of the country. And what doctors found that day would completely change everything. But the most unsettling part, the news didn't come all at once. It came slowly, piece by piece. For years, Amanda had been told something that most people would probably ignore after a while, that she needed extra monitoring. It wasn't new. It wasn't urgent. Just something to keep an eye on. So every 6 months, like clockwork, she showed up. Checkups became routine, predictable, almost forgettable. Until one Friday, right before Labor Day, when that routine suddenly broke. The scan looked different. Her doctor didn't panic, but she didn't brush it off either. There was a pause, a shift in tone, and then came the words that instantly changed the atmosphere of any room. They wanted to do a biopsy, just to be sure, but something about the way it unfolded didn't feel routine anymore. And that's when everything started to feel real. The procedure itself was quick, but what happened after? That's what stayed with her. Instead of following the usual process, her doctor made an unexpected move. She said she would personally take the sample and hand-deliver it to pathology. That's not standard, and in that moment, Amanda didn't need confirmation. She just knew. No one had said the words yet. No official results, no diagnosis, but the silence between those steps spoke loudly enough. Still, the answers didn't come right away. They stretched out, slowly, and as she waited, something even heavier was unfolding outside of that hospital room, because this wasn't the only crisis happening in her life. At the exact same time she was waiting for answers, both of her parents were in hospice, on opposite coasts. Think about that for a second. While trying to process her own health scare, she was also preparing to say goodbye to both of them. Then things took a sudden turn. Her father's condition worsened quickly, and she rushed to New York hoping to make it in time. But she didn't. He passed before she arrived. And just like that, grief entered the story before she even had clarity about her own situation. But as overwhelming as that moment was, another call was already on its way. When her phone rang back in Los Angeles, it finally brought some answers. There were still more tests to run. More questions unanswered. And one big unknown still hanging over everything. How far had it spread? This is what she later described as the slow drip. Not one overwhelming moment, but a series of realizations that kept unfolding, one after another. And just when it felt like things might stabilize, something else showed up. During further scans, doctors found another mass. Same area, same concern. Completely new wave of fear. Now the situation wasn't just about one finding. It was about what this second discovery could mean. Was it worse than they thought? Was it spreading? That uncertainty hit hard. More tests followed. More waiting. More silence. Until finally, the results came back. The second mass was benign, not cancer. And just like that, the tension broke, but only partially. Because the first diagnosis was still real. Stage 1, early, but not something you can ignore. And now came the part that many people fear the most, telling family. When it came time to tell her children, Amanda didn't try to act fearless. In fact, she was advised not to. Her therapist gave her a different approach. Don't pretend to have all the answers. Don't hide the fear. Let them see what's real. So she did. And their reactions were exactly what you'd expect, and yet still powerful. One of her daughters cried. Another, calling from college, went completely silent at first, hand over her mouth. trying to process what she was hearing. But something surprising happened in that moment, too. They didn't fall apart. They stepped up. That honesty didn't weaken them. It brought them closer into the situation, like they were part of the fight instead of just watching it. And that shift made all the difference. But even then, the story wasn't over yet. The treatment plan turned out to be less aggressive than she had feared. No chemotherapy, no extreme procedures. Instead, doctors recommended a lumpectomy followed by radiation. Still serious, but manageable. And after weeks filled with anxiety, appointments, and emotional highs and lows, she finally reached a moment she had been waiting for. Her first clear scan. For the first time in months, there was real, measurable relief. It felt like stepping out of a storm. But life didn't pause to let that moment settle, because just days later, another goodbye came. Her mother, who had been battling Parkinson's, passed away in hospice. So within a matter of months, Amanda Peet experienced something few people ever face all at once, a health scare that forced her to confront her own mortality, while simultaneously losing both of her parents. And maybe the most striking part of her story isn't just the diagnosis itself, it's how it unfolded. Not as one dramatic moment, but as a series of quiet, heavy realizations. A slow build of fear, relief, grief, and resilience, all tangled together. It's a reminder that life doesn't separate its hardest moments. Sometimes they arrive all at once. And when they do, what matters most isn't having control over the outcome. It's how you hold everything together while it's happening. Doctors told her that the tumor was HER2 negative, and for a brief moment, everything felt okay. Strangely okay. She later described it almost like a wave of relief hitting her out of nowhere, like she could finally breathe again. But that feeling didn't last, because about 10 minutes later, reality came rushing back in.